All right, welcome back everyone to Unplugged Headlines. Glad to have you all with us for our 24th deep dive. We're tackling a pretty dense topic today, folks, but it's an important one, so we're going to really dig in and
Okay.
unpack all the details for you. We're looking at this blog post called Breaking Down Barriers: How Ahrvo Network Solves Fragmentation in Payments, Banking, and Compliance. So we're talking about all those different financial systems you use as a business and how they just don't seem to connect and how that's a problem
It
Ahrvo's
is.
trying to solve.
Yeah, I think anyone who runs a business or works in finance knows how payments and banking and keeping everything compliant sometimes feels like they're happening on totally different planets.
It is
It's a real
updated.
challenge.
Totally.
And so we're going to explore that. And then look at how Arvo's trying to, bring it all together.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump right into it. This fragmentation, what's the big deal here? The blog post talks about how payments, banking, and compliance
Yeah.
have kind of developed separately in their own little worlds,
hmm
which, okay, that makes sense on the surface, but what are the practical problems it causes for
Oh,
businesses?
man, there's so many. So one of the biggest ones is data isolation. Imagine trying to get a clear picture of your customer when their identity information's in one system, their documents are in another, their transaction history is somewhere else entirely. You know what I mean?
Right, like, oh man.
Yeah, it's tough to get that holistic view that you need for things like identity verification, document management, transaction monitoring. It's a mess.
Yeah, like trying to solve a puzzle, but all the pieces are in different boxes.
Exactly, exactly. It's a good way to put it.
So as a business, if you need to really understand a customer, you're piecing together this Frankenstein of information from all these different systems, which just sounds super inefficient.
Oh, it's incredibly inefficient. And it doesn't even stop there. When you want to, say, expand your business or offer new services, this fragmentation makes you repeat the same processes over and over. You might have to onboard with a whole new set of providers. Every time you want to do something new, it's a huge drain on your time and resources,
It's like every time you want to do something new, you gotta start over from scratch with like
basically.
the same information. Yeah, and then the blog also mentions the security risks, right? When it's all fragmented like this.
Absolutely. Yeah. When you have all these different providers with their own security protocols, it creates weaknesses, inevitably. Think of it like securing your online accounts. If you have different passwords for everything, some weak, some strong, it's only as strong as your weakest link.
Right, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, and I imagine just the manual work of trying to like reconcile data from different platforms. The blog talks about this manual, consolidation being really labor intensive and error prone. I mean, a compliance officer's nightmare.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Imagine spending hours and hours manually compiling data from all these different sources. Not only is it a massive waste of time, but it also increases the risk of errors big time, which can lead to serious compliance issues.
And then for your customers too, having to submit the same information over and over to different
Oh,
providers.
it's awful. It's the worst.
Yeah, so annoying. Nobody wants to fill out the same forms 10 times.
Yeah, totally. It creates a terrible user experience. People might even abandon the process altogether.
And then on top of that, we were talking earlier about, going international. Makes this even worse.
Oh, absolutely. Every country has its own set of regulations, its own banking relationships, compliance hurdles. It just multiplies the fragmentation problem, makes it way more complex and costly.
So, okay, we've got all these challenges. The blog then brings up Ahrvo Comply. As a solution, what are they doing that's different?
Well, what's really interesting about Ahrvo Comply is that it's a platform that really integrates everything: identity, document, and transaction management, all in one system. Unlike a lot of other solutions out there, which rely on third-party integrations or any part, keep data siloed, Ahrvo Comply has built its entire suite of solutions in-house, over 20 of them. That kind of end-to-end control is key to getting seamless data flow and continuous audit trails.
They're not just like patching things together. They've really built it.
From scratch, exactly.
The blog then gets into the specifics of what the platform can do. Let's start with identity management.
So with identity management, Ahrvo Comply handles your KYC, KYB, and AML processes all within the same system. This integration is really what makes it so powerful. It allows for a much more streamlined and comprehensive approach to verifying identities.
And then for document management, it sounds like they go beyond just like storage.
They do, yeah. They offer OCR for extracting data from documents, secure file sharing, e-signatures to speed things up, even PDF editing and word processing, all with full audit trails.
So it's like the stuff you probably use every day, but integrated into a
Exactly.
secure system. And then there's transaction management, which is obviously super important for, monitoring financial activity.
Yeah, they cover both fiat currencies and cryptocurrencies, which is crucial these days. They have features like anomaly detection to catch suspicious activity, the ability to generate SARS, suspicious activity reports, and they even ensure compliance with the travel rule for crypto.
So they're really covering all the bases there, and then all of this is built on their approach to data management, which the blog says is all about security, using things like smart contracts,
Yes, that's right.
and decentralized clouds.
Absolutely, data security is paramount for them. They use smart contracts, which are basically self-executing agreements, coded onto a blockchain to ensure transparency and security. They use decentralized clouds for resilient data storage, and they leverage blockchain technology for enhanced data integrity.
So for business, the blog says some of the big advantages are increased transparency, better security for sensitive data, more efficient compliance processes, real-time audit trails, things like that.
Yeah, definitely. And then there's geolocation tracking and the ability to have comprehensive documentation without any manual reconciliation. Those are huge benefits.
And then there's also Ahrvo Network's work in this area called portable identity technology. The blog mentions they have some patents pending for this, and it's all about solving the problem of having to verify your identity over and over with different providers.
Right, exactly. It's a pain.
Like, imagine if you could just verify your identity once and then share it securely.
That's the idea.
So that's their compliance solution. But then the blog brings up another piece of this, the portable identity gateway. What is that all about?
So the blog makes a really good point. Even with the best compliance system of the world, it's only truly effective if it actually lets you access financial services, right? A verified identity needs to be useful. And that's where the portable identity gateway comes in. It's that crucial link between compliance and access.
So it's not just about checking boxes. It's
Right.
about actually being able to do what you need to do.
Exactly.
And so the blog says this gateway is a platform with a single onboarding process that then gives you access to a marketplace of over 800 partners, banks, payment processors, all that. That sounds pretty powerful.
It is. It streamlines everything. Instead of going through separate onboarding with each partner, you do it once through the gateway and you have access to this whole ecosystem. They also have a patented cross-border open banking protocol, which lets you onboard just by connecting your existing bank accounts. It makes things so much easier for both domestic and international transactions.
That's got to be a huge time saver. So what are some of the things this gateway actually lets you do?
Well, one of the biggest benefits is global reach. With a single API integration, businesses can access financial services in 200 countries and territories, supporting a huge number of currencies and alternative payment methods.
So no more complex one-off integrations with
Yep, no more of that.
tons of different providers.
Exactly.
And it's not just about reaching more markets, but also the types of services you can access, right?
That's right. You get access to payment processing, open banking capabilities, seamless cross-border transactions, multi-currency accounts, compliant on- and off-ramps for crypto and fiat. It's pretty comprehensive.
And then there's this launch your own financial program thing.
Yes, that's a very interesting feature.
So businesses can basically embed financial services under their own brand.
Exactly. They can leverage the Ahrvo Network to generate new revenue streams by offering various financial services to their own customers.
So you're not just using financial services. You can actually become a provider. And then going back to compliance, the integration between Ahrvo Comply and this gateway seems like it would make onboarding a lot smoother.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
Because the compliance is already handled within the Ahrvo system.
exactly.
So you could potentially get approved faster across the network without having to repeat checks for every single partner.
That's right. And the blog even mentions they offer complimentary compliance services to
Yeah.
partners who meet certain volume thresholds.
So it really changes how we think about compliance, right?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing it as a cost of doing business, Ahrvo's making it a strategic asset that can actually help your business grow.
So it's not just a hurdle to jump over, it's actually part of the process.
Exactly.
Now, security is obviously a big concern, right? Especially when you're talking about this kind of sensitive financial data.
Absolutely.
So the blog has a whole section about Ahrvo's security and infrastructure. What are some of the key things they mention?
Well, they highlight their compliance with all the major industry standards, ISO 27001, GDPR, PCI DSS, CCPA, you name it. They also use advanced encryption methods to protect data both at rest and in transit.
And they use a multi-cloud strategy, right? With AWS, Google, Cloud, and Azure, so it's more.
Yeah, that's right. It provides redundancy and ensures business continuity. They also use biometric verification technology with a very high accuracy rate, over 99% for their facial recognition algorithms, plus liveness detection to prevent spoofing. And their database is super comprehensive. It includes IDs from over 200 countries, global watch lists, PEP, UBO, you name it.
So it sounds like they've really put a lot of thought into the security here.
They have, yeah. Security is clearly a top priority for them.
And the blog also talks about the people behind Ahrvo Network.
Hmm.
So the Ahrvo Labs team has over 100 years of combined experience in this area.
That's right. They have a wealth of experience in payments, compliance, fraud prevention. They've also got a global presence, and they offer really comprehensive support to their clients.
That's got to be reassuring for businesses.
It is. Yeah, they offer round-the-clock technical assistance, guidance on implementation, compliance advice, even strategic consulting. They're really aiming to be a true partner to their clients.
So as we wrap up here, what are the big takeaways? What are the main advantages of this unified approach?
Well, I think the biggest one is the shift from fragmentation to integration. Instead of dealing with all these separate systems, you have one connected ecosystem.
And that obviously leads to more efficiency.
Yeah, exactly. It eliminates redundant processes, like having to onboard with each partner individually. And as we discussed earlier, compliance becomes a potential revenue generator instead of just a cost center.
Yeah, and the global reach, while still adhering to local, compliance is
Ooh, that's a big one.
huge. And then streamlining operations, reducing vendor costs,
Absolutely. It simplifies everything.
and faster time to market because you can get access to partners quicker.
Yeah, they're really changing the game.
So they're basically saying compliance can be a strategic advantage, not just a
That's right. They're making compliance an enabler of growth.
box to check. So looking ahead, the blog talks about this trend toward unified, scalable infrastructure in the financial services world. Where does Ahrvo Network see itself fitting into all of this?
They see themselves as a leader in this transition. They're offering a patented, secure platform that addresses the limitations of the old fragmented systems. And they believe that this unified approach could lead to greater financial inclusion and more innovation by making it easier for businesses of all sizes to participate in the global financial system.
So it's like they're envisioning a future where the barriers between compliance, payments, and banking are much lower.
Exactly, a more streamlined, efficient, unified financial ecosystem.
Well, this has been a really interesting deep dive into the Ahrvo Network and how they're trying to solve this major problem in
Yeah,
the
it's been fascinating.
financial world. Really makes to think about the benefits of unifying all these things.
It does, yeah. It leaves us with a really important question for all of you. As the infrastructure of financial services becomes more interconnected and accessible, what new possibilities and innovations might emerge? For your businesses and for the wider financial landscape, what could you achieve if the friction caused by fragmented systems was minimized? What new opportunities might that unlock?
Some great food for thought there. Thanks for joining us for another Unplugged Headlines Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.